Inkie peeps, it's Del from Inkie Quill, and today we're up to wedding album flip number 5. So this is the reception and speeches, and then the 6th one, the last one, is the dance floor. So there's a bit of dancing in here, I think, possibly, but it's a whole lot of cake cutting and all those fun reception events that go on. So this is an album, this is probably my favourite album out of all of them, and it's the Inspire one from the Project Life collection that came out. And I love the colours, and I love the brush script, and it's just gorgeous. Alright, and I've got my camera in a new spot, so it's almost big enough to see across the pages. I'm going to try and hold it so that you don't get the glare as well. So this first page, I really like it as a title page, I guess you could say. And this is when I started making little DIY embellishment type things, from layering punch shapes. You know, that's my go-to. And then I actually used some photo corners here, and that's something that I haven't really done much of, so that's pretty cute. But minimal embellishing because the focus is on all of those many hearts. So that's page 1. Then, oh, I love this layout. I'm pretty sure there's a process video for this one back in the day. This is probably a 2015 process video, maybe 16. And this was a photo of the table numbers that I made for each of the tables. I got some old books and then cut out some fabric and painted a number and did Scrabble letters for each of the, I think we had 6 tables? 6? 7? 6. No, we had 6 tables. And I remember, I'm pretty sure this was maybe using a hip kit, I think, because I remember those two things from it. And I used a stencil, but I just sprayed through it, and I didn't like the look of it, so I put a piece of vellum over the top of it so that it kind of muted it down and made it look a bit softer. So I love the look of that one. Then we've just got a very simple Project Life type page. We've got the dining arrangement board that I made. We've got our, oh, I forgot about these. We made up some cocktails the night before. So we made 2 different types of cocktails and mixed those up the night before with all of the other things that we did. And then these are the little fans, because we didn't know if it would be hot or not, because it was the end of November, basically the day before summer starts. And so I made these little fans that had all of the information of who was in the wedding party and a little bit of brush script on it. And then down here, this is inside the marquee, and then just a random photo. Then on the other side, this is all of us coming in to the reception. We came in to Let's Get Married remix by Jagged Edge, which is one of my favourite songs. And it was just perfect for us to come in. So if there was small, if I could crop them, I cropped the photos if possible. And then down here I just put a transparency over us coming in with our with our awesome dance moves down here. So there's that page. There's a lot of 8.5 by 11s in here. I think this was when I first really started loving this size and experimenting with it. So this is just a really simple page, just layering different papers behind, and then a little scattering. I think some of these are actually Project Life cards that I've punched circa they are. They're from the Southern Weddings core kit, Project Life core kit. And oh, we seem to have had a rogue word that's now upside down on my dress, but we're just going to let that happen because there's no way that's coming off now. There's that one. And then another, because you can't have enough photos of entering the wedding reception, can you? I love this page. It's so simple, but I just love it. I don't know, I think it's the size as well. And then just the focus on these papers. Definitely want to try and scrap lift this one again, maybe to a 9 by 12 size. Then we've got another little Project Life page. I cut this photo in half because I was able to separate the bridal party without really chopping anyone's name in half, which was handy. Here we are at our epically long bridal table at the front, and then all the other tables were facing this way. I love this photo of all of the, yeah, so I bought jars and paper straws for the cocktails as well, because, you know, didn't buy enough DIY things for this wedding. And then basically the only embellishment is just a little bit here, and then a filler card up the top here. And that's a really handy thing to do if you want to get through pages quickly. So here are some pictures of Aaron's dad and his stepmom, and I just did another couple of filler cards up here, a transparency, and then I used, I think these were the Mambi clear stickers possibly, and they were really handy for just sticking right on top of photos, because a lot of the time with wedding photos, photographers get a bit artsy and there's a lot of blank space, so they're handy to have. Her dress was beautiful. Then we have this nice little one of the two of us and Aaron's mum, and this is when the open book floral paper collection came out, and I went crazy with the flowers on this one. Did a big cluster, and then some little sprinklings of Heidi Shine, and then to balance off all of this chunkiness, I just did a little strip of paper up the top. And then on this side, these are all of my teaching friends, and so so I invited some, and then Aaron's mum, because she worked at the same school, invited some of her friends, and so we had a nice big group of teachers there. And I really like combining the font with the scripty word that's already one big chunky piece. Then there's some more outtakes. I think we took many of those photos because we like to talk, and so it was hard to get one of everyone looking. Here's a photo with my uncle, and then my aunt and uncle and mum and nan down the bottom. Just really simple little embellishing, and I think it's fun for when you're doing an album like this to have a recurring like icon or symbol or something throughout the whole thing. So of course gold glitter hearts are just everywhere throughout this album, and it makes it look a little bit more cohesive. This is I call her my auntie. She's my mum's best friend. They've been friends since the first day of kindergarten, and so she came to the wedding as well. And it's a really pretty photo of the four of us, and I think I had just got my heart punch for these albums when I started the wedding, because I'm very obsessed with my heart punch at the moment. I like this colour scheme, this kind of like mint green, navy and pale pink. It's different. It's nice. Then this is this was my kindergarten grade partner, my bestie teacher friend, and I think there's a process video for this one from memory, and I just kind of did like a rough grid layout. I had some little pockets that I just put some Project Life cards in. I'm pretty sure this turns around and you can change the words for it, and it's quite chunky. There's a few chunky bits and pieces on it, but it was a really fun page to make. I remember making this one and just going crazy with the layers and the little little finishing bits like washi tape and enamel dots. Then over here we've just got another little filler card. I think this album was quite tricky to work out which ones I wanted to do as layouts and which ones I wanted to just do as pocket pages. And the good thing about putting all of your photos in the pockets first is that right up front you just make the decision once at the start, and then it's done. You don't have to and ah about which photos you want to do as layouts and which you prefer, because I've already had a photo with my auntie, and so I probably wouldn't do two layouts, but instead of having to and ah about which photo I wanted to use, I could just do it at the start and be done with it. And then there's a couple of Polaroid photos in here. I bought a Polaroid camera, and I think I gave it to Maid of Honor, and I think she went around and took some happy snaps of everyone. Then pretty sure there's a process video for this one. This is myself and Aaron's little sister, who was our flower girl, and I tried to use up a sticker sheet, I remember, on this one, and so I was kind of just adding all sorts of bits and pieces to try and use up a kit little tiny word stickers and all sorts of things. But I love the colours, and I've done, I don't think you can really tell on camera, but I've done some texture paste in the background. It's got little white hearts all over it, and there's some tulle, like some fabric tulle as one of the layers as well. Ooh, and even an embossing folder. Oh, I spent a while on that layout. Here's a layout of Aaron and his mum, and I just added lots of gold hearts as usual, and this one had a bit of tulle in the background too. I must have done these pages quite close together because they're quite similar in their composition. And I had a video on, or have a video on YouTube where I made little bows, and must have been around the same time as that because there's one of those little bows. Then these are some of my uni friends that came up for the wedding. So I just got a photo with the girls and then with the other halves, and I also must have made my DIY flares here too. Transparencies are so good for wedding albums like this because you can just plonk them in and be done with it. There's the cake topper that I made. I don't know if I talked about the cake topper, but yep, made the cake topper as well. Because why not? Bought the cake stand, drinks trolley as well, but these are salt and pepper shakers that my nan actually gave me, and I've found this little red Doll's House velvet lounge online, and I was really trying to find a red velvet lounge for our wedding to have the photos on, but unfortunately I found it about a couple of months after the wedding, so I did end up buying it anyway. We used it for our wedding hire business, but then I just made this little bunting out of paper and spray painted I think it was like a plaque, like an MDF wooden plaque. I glued it all down and glued on some Scrabble letters as well. There's that one. I love these photos. So then here's the big cake layout, and this paper was one that I was hoarding for a while, I remember, and it seemed to match the colours of the bunting just perfectly. Even the greeny tones of the grass outside, it just seemed to work. You know when you get a paper and it just matches perfectly and you get really excited about it and no one else will understand unless they're a paper crafter? Yeah, that's the moment we're having here. And then, ooh, got a lot of paper layers here. Oh, I like that. And I've kind of ruffled some of them up as well. Oh, I like that a lot. So here we are, cutting the cake. Lots and lots of papers using up. Oh, and washi tape too. And then some sort of scallopy edge that I don't have a punch that does that, so I don't know where I got that from. I think after making the album I found some extra Polaroids. So this is just a little layout. It's a 6x8 one, and so it's just got the Polaroid in here. Just a very basic slap some papers together and a gold glitter heart, you're done. And then I must have just made a filler page on the back because I didn't have a photo to go on the back, but that's all right. And then here, more cake cutting, and that's what I'm talking about with these stickers. It's great because there are a lot of like blank spaces and you can just stick on a sticker, and then if you've got a little sprinkly bit that you're putting, like a little camera or some enamel dots or a star or something, put a couple of those on and the page is done in a couple of minutes. And some more. I had bought a couple of, I think 2 wedding sticker sheets that I end up not really using because the colours are a bit dull. They were kind of like a dull gold and a dull grey and a dull olive green. Why would I think that would match my stuff? I don't know. But yeah, it didn't work very well. But that's the cake from there. So I was able to use that. And then here got a little bit of journaling about the cake topper. Our photographer took a lot of photos of the cake, and of course I printed every single one of them because I printed too many photos. So here's some more. And then this was my dad's speech, And so I just did a series of weddings and then did some little triangles of paper in the middle here. And then that same, I still like to keep a bit of a diagonal whenever I do my layouts and do kind of a sprinkling of something going diagonal. I usually go that way, I find, but sometimes it's, oh, actually no, I do a lot that way as well. But there's usually some sort of diagonal element in there. And then, oh, this is a very funny story about Aaron. So in Aaron's dad's speech that he gave, he told this story about Aaron and how polite he is, just, and always has been. And once Aaron and his dad were staying at Aaron's grandparents' place, and they were in the same room in 2 single beds, and the room was so dark. It was pitch black. It was very, very dark. I think there was like no moon or a lot of cloud cover, so there was no light coming through the windows. And in the middle of the night, Aaron woke up and kind of forgot where he was. He was only young, maybe like 4 or 5 or something. And in the middle of the night, he woke up and he went, excuse me, I think I'm blind," because he couldn't see anything and he thought he was blind, but he was just in a very dark room. So he told that story, and I just did quite a lot of paper layering here, and I love the way that this one looks. And then over here, minimal embellishing. These are just all photos from our speech. A couple of transparencies. More speech photos. So we had the 2 dads and then our best man and maid of honour. So here is Karen's speech, and I just did this, something that I wouldn't usually do, but I gave it a go. Like a bunch of balloons, I guess you could say, with these little hearts. And I really love the way that it looked. I think that it worked because it's a small size. It's only an 8.5 by 11. And some more giggles here. They're very, I think it helped having like a selected, bunny hair on everything, sorry. A selected like colour kind of scheme, and trying to not, I think this album's kind of where I found my groove, and I wasn't trying to do too many competing colours. So here's some more, so many speech photos, so many. And of course I cried during Karen's speech, and I think Aaron, I don't know if Aaron cried during Rowan's, his best man might have. And then Aaron got up and did a very impromptu one, and there was a beautiful moment. One of our groomsmen actually passed away a few months before the wedding, and unexpectedly in an accident, and so Aaron did a little speech saying that how much he wished that he could be here with us tonight, and he broke down crying, and so my dad got up and gave him a hanky, which was really sweet of him. I did some stitching on here. Oh, Archie's woken up. No! Alright, Archie's awake, so we're going to see how quickly we can get through this last little bit. So I showed you this one. On the back, another really simple one. I did some white texture paste in the background, and I actually used some packaging from some stickers or something, and I really like the way that the gold kind of, I just really like the composition of this page. I guess you could just sum it up as that. I love the gold and the glittery gold, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I like that it's not a 4x6 photo. I really enjoy cutting down my photos even more when they're a 4x6, just so I don't have too many repetitive, that's, oh my god, I had a complete mental blank then. Too many repetitive layouts. Wow, mental blank. So this next one, a couple of Polaroids. Oh my goodness, this was when Aaron was the tallest out of all of his siblings. This one's 6'3" now. And a couple of Polaroids with some little tags popping in behind there and a little embellishment. And then this is when I must have done, oh, we've gone a little bit bright there. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, so this must have been when I found all of the extra Polaroids, because there's also some more hidden in this little pocket here, and I had to create a few extra layouts for them. And then the last one for this album, a couple of dance floor pictures, the same couple of transparencies with embellishments on it, and then the final one is just someone walking across the dance floor and some filler bits and pieces. So overall, I think that this album is one of the albums that shows the most consistency with my style and with the color scheme, and also with the embellishments that I used. I think I showed the most flow throughout the album. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got one more flip through for July, and then we're either going to, if you can hear Archie in the background, he's in the lounge room with Aaron and he's running circles around Aaron, I think. After the wedding album, what should we flip through? Maybe, I don't know if my 2017 albums will be done. No, they won't be, because I'm missing 3 months of April, May, June and a bit of July. So if I could flip through them and just leave out that part, or if I have been good and have got my photos printed for that time period, then we'll head on to those ones next. But thank you for joining me again today. I love doing these album flip throughs with you. I think it's really nice to look back, and I'm definitely going to scrap lift, especially some of those simpler ones, like that one is so simple, but I absolutely love it. I'm definitely going to scrap lift some of those soon. Alright guys, have a lovely week and I'll see you all next time. Bye!